All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you are in this beautiful world. Welcome to our Inner Circle Live pre-New York session. I'm your host, Ryan Carthage. We'll be joined shortly by my awesome partner, Mr. Benny Allen. Hope everybody's doing well today on this beautiful Wednesday. As always, let's turn off all distractions, grab pen and paper, let's take lots of notes, and let's make sure that we participate and engage. All right. We got a lot happening today. So got some preparation to do, which we started yesterday. So, as always, we want to make sure we start our day off by taking massive action. And that action stands for accepting all possible losses before entering the trade, preparing you for any outcome, centering yourself, body, mind, and spirit, ensuring a balanced approach to trading, trusting your education, strategy, trading skills, and intuition. Imagine your trade successfully materializing, obeying your trading strategy, avoiding decisions based on greed or fear, and never looking back or stopping once your trade has commenced. All right. So if everybody can hear me okay, drop me a 1 in the chat. All right. Cool. Perfect. So let me just finish that. Perfect. All right. So let's hop over, take a quick look at trading economics. Then we'll look at the calendar just for the timing of the events today. And then we'll hop into the charts. So UK GDP stalls. British economy stalled in April 2024 after a 0.4% rise in March, and in line with the expectation. It's the weakest performance in 4 months as the fall in industrial output and construction offset a rise in services. All right, so GDP numbers for the pound decrease. So back to that kind of back and forth data that we're getting out of the UK, right? And they have a rate statement next week. So we'll see how things continue to move from a data perspective. Headlines for today. First up is the CPI data that comes out early this morning. The annual inflation rate in the U.S. is expected to hold steady at 3.4, matching April's rate. After a period of earlier acceleration this year compared to previous month, the CPI is projected to increase by 0.1%, which would mark the lowest reading in 7 months. So that's what the expectation is. All right. We will see. We'll see how it comes out, right? We know we got hot jobs data last week. So we'll see if these numbers also come out above expectation as well. All right. Then U.S. inflation data unlikely to change the Fed's plans. U.S. consumer inflation data released today is unlikely to influence the Federal Reserve, which is set to keep its key rate unchanged and reduce the number of rate cuts planned for this year, right? You got the investors talking about, more rate cuts, more rate cuts, more rate cuts. But the Fed hasn't changed that stance yet. So that's the expectation, is more cuts to come. There's some articles out there talking about the dot plot and how the dot plot could show more cuts. But I don't think that that's going to be the narrative from the Fed, especially how the data has come out so far. We talked about the CPI. Yeah, so there we go there. So that's the expectation from the Fed. So we'll continue to monitor those things there. Last night we had Japan PPI data. Producer prices in Japan jumped to 2.4% year on year, accelerating from an upwardly revised 1.1% gain in April. All right, so they revised April's numbers up, and the PPI number still came in above that and above the expectation. Highest reading since August of last year. The latest figure also exceeded market expectations, fueling concerns that it might translate into a higher level of CPI, right? Consumer inflation. So in Japan, right, we know that their goal is to to be at this 2% sustainably, right? At a consistent level. So if it goes above that, right, which a lot of the business owners have been talking about, being able to move the prices onto the consumer, right? And with higher producer prices, right, that would then push them or urge them to do that even more. It was a concern of theirs because the wage data didn't support it yet, but we saw, was it last week before last, that some of those wage increases are starting to come into the data now. So these business owners could feel a little bit more comfortable passing those costs on to the customer to increase that CPI number and then translate into Bank of Japan potentially starting to make some changes. All right. So that's just kind of a background there for that PPI data. We know we got that rate statement for Japan coming tomorrow. All right. And then Brent edges higher on demand optimism. Okay. So that's where we are from a trading economics perspective. Over to the calendar. Let me go back. This is where we are here, right? So there's that PPI data from last night. There's that GDP data. So 8:30, right? This is where eyes are pointed first. Some of the reports are calling it a double whammy, right? You got CPI data, 8:30, and then everything will shift to 2 o'clock. And we'll look for that data and the rate statement and the press conference, 2 o'clock and 2:30. That's where everything is pointed. And then later on tonight, you got the unemployment rate. All right. So that's where we are from a fundamental perspective. Are there any questions?
No.
Nope. All right. Cool deal. Benny, good morning, bro.
Ryan, good morning. Good morning, everybody. How you doing this morning, Ryan?
I'm doing well, man. Doing well. How about yourself?
Oh man, doing great. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. Um, I know we're watching CPI and rate statement. Anything else? Did you catch it yesterday or early this morning?
No, man. Everything on what's going on today, right? A lot of information, especially like you said, focused on that dot plot. See what's going on moving forward with the Fed. But all eyes are on what's going on later on this morning and this afternoon. That's it.
All
So
right.
everybody's waiting on the Fed.
Strap on your seatbelt.
Yep, that's it.
It will be interesting. Cool deal, bro. Um, all right. So let's hop over to the charts, right? And you see we're just range bound, right? We pushed up, started pushing up yesterday, and we're coming back down to the bottom of that range. We'll see what the Fed says, right? If we get a pullback to take back some of this bullish action, or does this previous resistance continue to hold its future support? All right. So we're just range bound there, waiting to see what transpires. All right. So not a ton on the DXY to discuss. Not a ton on the dollar yen to discuss, right? We're still in the range there, still trickling to the upside. All right. So that data, if the data comes in, if the CPI data comes in hawkish, right, we could see a potential boost in the currency. And then if the Fed takes more of a dovish tone, then we could see a pullback, right? So it'd be interesting to see what the mix of the conversation and the data is, right? What the combination is, right? And see what words Jerome Powell chooses, and how they reference the data. So that's what I'm going to be looking for, some of those smaller nuances in the conversation, and seeing how price moves with those nuances. So that's where my mind is right now. All right. So that's where we are there. I only have a couple pairs that I am just monitoring to see what happens. Yesterday we didn't talk about the Aussie dollar, so we'll talk about that. Um, you see, we're just range bound. Got indecision today, indecision yesterday, and you see prices just trickling to the side, slightly bullish, right? And so just coming down to this 1 hour time frame, what I'm looking to see is if the data pushes price into the sweet spot, right? That's what I'm looking for there. Um, we got some Aussie data coming in tonight, but do we get some action like that to occur, right? Giving us an opportunity to enter this on a 1 hour time frame back down to the downside, right? It's been just back and forth for quite some time, so just looking to see what I see on the chart as a reaction to the conversation in the data. All right, so um, that's what I'd like to see, right? Give a high price and then get short there. Okay, so that's the Aussie dollar. Are there any questions on that? Nope.
Nope.
Cool deal. The Aussie CAD also just been pressing sideways for the most part, right? For quite some time, right? Through the month of May, right? And now through the month of June, we've just been in this range. Down on the 4, we just missed that 118, 127 zone, right? But we haven't been able to close above this resistance range here, right? So we had strong bearish action last week, and now we've been pulling back. So in the 1 hour, we got this 80-20 scenario here. Okay, we haven't gotten to that 382. We're just ranging in that 118, 127 zone. We got a nice bearish break, and we're pulling back now, right? Pulled back into that 118, 127 zone. So this is one that I have a small position entered on as price pulled back into that zone, right? And looking to see if we get a continuation of that bearish action for ABCD move to the downside, getting to that 382. Right. So there's your setup there. Okay. But stop loss outside the D above that resistance. If we break that 91, 271 level, right, then I'm looking for price to continue moving up for a period of time. So yeah, so that's the 80-20 on the Aussie CAD that I'm curious to see how it moves. We got what did that say? Brent crude edge higher. All right, it's not WTI, but on demand optimism, right? So we also got crude oil inventories today as well that could also give us some insights and could move oil, which then could also impact the Canadian dollar. So a couple things there to keep our eyes on to see if we get the fundamental catalyst to move this to the downside here. All right. Questions on the Aussie CAD? Nope. All
Nope.
right. All right. All right. All right. One second, everybody. All right. All right. And then these yen crosses are running to the upside even with that strong PPI data. But not completely surprising. So daily time frame on this Aussie yen pushing back to the upside, right? So we'll see if we're able to break above this resistance zone here between this daily resistance and this monthly resistance. See if we're able to break above this daily and monthly resistance. 105, 405 is the top of that range, right? If we do, headed to that 118, 127 zone, and these all-time highs, 107, not all-time highs, but these highs of 107, 872. So watching that to see how it goes. Not a ton happening on the 4 either. We got a 618 retracement, right? So if we are able to break above these levels, then we could likely ultimately get to that D extension there at 109. All right. So watching to see how the fundamentals move here, even with the Aussie data later on tonight. Okay. But then on the 1, this is where I'm really kind of honing in to see if we stay inside that AB boundary. Right. Between today and tomorrow. So I'm watching this one just on the 1 hour. If we stay inside that AB boundary, and we get some sort of movement from the Bank of Japan regarding preparation for changes in interest rates, that could be the catalyst to turn this over and push it back down, right? Especially if their decrease in the bond purchases is I'll say large enough to cause conversation, right? So and they give some sort of indication in their statement about any sort of plans or forward guidance. So that's how I'm looking at this one. So I'm really watching this 1 hour time frame to see if we stay inside the AB boundary between today, tomorrow, and Friday. All right. Questions on the Aussie yen? Nope, nope, nope. All right.
No, sir.
Cool deal. This Euro Aussie, we got indecision, right? Today, we come back down to the support level, right? And we haven't been able to break out, right? Our larger fib on the daily time frame, we're just stuck in the 618 retracement zone. So kind of bottom of the smaller range here, right? We've just been range bound in this area. Bottom of the range, are we able to start pushing back to the top of this range, right? With Fed data, Aussie data, right? And then I think later on this week, we got some more Euro data. It might be next week, but do we get the data that supports the Euro to push to the upside? Okay, so that's where we are there on the daily time frame. On the 4, it's a similar story, right? Similar story, 618 retracement. That's that daily support level that hopefully we can get a bounce off of and make a move to the upside. Down on the 1, we stayed inside this AB boundary. We got this previous break, right? But we pushed back down. So this trend line would ultimately adjust out like that, all right? Outermost point of the range. So we came back down to the support level, but we stayed inside the AB boundary. So we got an 8-6 retracement. If we get back to the top of the range, that'll give us a matching extension on the 1 hour time frame, right? So this one I am looking at like this, right? Just stop 10, 15 pips outside the D extension, right? And then looking for the CDD move like that. Back to the top of the range, and then we'll see if things align fundamentally for this to push further on that daily time frame, right? So there's a CDD move on the Euro Aussie, looking for that move to the upside, right? We haven't broken the cloud yet, so we could still get some rangy action down here. So we'll monitor that as well. But if you run your trend line to the downside, right, you're getting your trend line break here, right? So that's what I'm looking at on the Euro Aussie. Looking for a move to the upside, at least to the top of the range, getting us that ABCD move on the 1 hour time frame. Okay. Questions on the Euro Aussie?
Nope.
All right. Let's see what we got here. Um, I'll pop through some of these yens real quick. But they're all pushing to the upside, right? So this CAD yen, right? Even though we gotta move down, right? That retracement is still happening here, right? So pushing long, still against the yen, which makes sense, right? We haven't had any changes fundamentally. We still have the 80-20 on the 4 hour that we're watching, but we bounced off that support level. Benny talked about the support level, right? We got the bounce, and now we're continuing to push long. So it's a matter of how far north do we go, right? Um, so that's on the 4. That's the 80-20 overall that I'm tracking on this CAD yen to see if, like I said, if the Bank of Japan gives us the catalyst to move this to the downside. Okay. Um, and down on the 1, this is what that looks like. We already got the fib coming off the high. We already got a 50% retracement. We didn't quite get to that 618 level, right? And then we got that push down, and now we're pulling back, right? So is this a pullback or then a continuation to the downside? Okay, so that's the CAD yen still pushing north, also still in this range that we need to break out of. Okay, so that's a quick look at the CAD yen. Questions on this one?
No.
Oh, nope. All right, we'll do Swiss yen. We're creating new highs here, right? We're creating new highs on the Swiss yen, headed to 176.219. All right, breaking this previous weekly resistance level. We're headed to the D extension on the weekly, right? Um, it all makes sense at the end of the day. So when we get to 176, right, then we'll look to see if we get a reset and see if we get there today, right? We'll see. But we are inching closer, right? Boom, you see the break. When we struggle to break, now let's see if we are able to break and close above that level, right? If we do, that extension is definitely in line, and that's also a D extension here on the daily time frame as well. Okay, so that's a weekly and daily D extension level. So that's a strong level where we could get a reaction, at least in the short term, right? Back down to the downside. Maybe coming back and retesting previous resistance. Okay, so watching for that to occur, right? When we come down to the 4, there's that 176 level. Okay, that puts us just shy of the 118, 127 zone. So this 4-hour fib will be interesting to see what happens. 183 is a long way at the moment, right? But if nothing happens with the yen, we could see this continue to fly. Okay, so we'll watch that. On the 1, that push to the upside, getting to that 176 level, puts us in a 118, 127 zone on the 1 hour. All right, so this previous fib, we got to a 382, and then we pushed. All right. Oh, I had that drawn up that way. But now on this new fib, right, headed for the 118, 127 zone. So watching this range. See what type of reaction we get. Okay. And if that lines up with some yen stuff, we'll look for at least a short-term move, right? Because even if we come back to previous resistance level, right, out of this zone, that's that D extension, that's 150 pips to the downside. Um, yeah, Joy, that Swissy is definitely acting like it's too good to make a move to the downside. That's for sure. Um, and they got a rate statement coming next week. So it'll be interesting to see how data coming out leading up to that works as well. So it's going to be interesting. So we'll see what happens here. But this I'm looking for a price to continue pushing north here, at least into this 118, 127. Okay. And then we could honestly get range bound before we see other action. Right. Both of them being safe haven currencies. We haven't had much pickup in geopolitical news as of now. So you do have in Israel the G7 pushing for Israel to, well, all parties to accept the ceasefire proposal that's on the table. And we'll see how that goes. But that's the only thing that's happening. They're still going back and forth with the attacks. But it hasn't been in the front of the news. So there hasn't been much of a response because of that. Okay. So we'll continue to monitor that in the background. But that's where we are. So that's where we are on the Swiss yen. Any questions here?
Nope.
Cool deal. I'm gonna drop this article into the chat regarding the Israel-Palestine situation, just as an update for you guys on how that's moving, so that you guys can just stay abreast of what's happening there. All right. So that's the Swiss yen, euro yen, swinging back to the upside. Right. Still got your 80-20 on the daily time frame, right? But we're range bound, pressing back north. Okay, on your 4. That's where you are there on the 4, right? We broke below the cloud. Whoops. We broke below the cloud, right? And we're still lingering below the cloud. So we'll see what happens. We still got a bullish cloud ahead. So we'll see if we're able to stay below the cloud here, or do we start bouncing back and forth above and below as price moves sideways. Okay. So that's where we are on the 4 hour, and then down on the 1. All right, we know we got that move down. We got a 618 retracement. And the question is, do we move back to 171.54, or are we able to stay below 169.852? Right, you see we're getting a break above the cloud now. So minimum back to the top of this shorter term range here. And we'll see if we're able to break above and continue higher. So long again on the yen, right? So that's where we are on the euro yen, long until we get otherwise. Questions here? Cool deal.
Nope.
No, sir.
Cool deal, cool deal. And then the pound yen, long. Right? So we're pressing toward this D extension at 201.306, which we'll likely get to on this daily time frame. We got stochastic, right, swinging out of that buy zone. So we're headed long, right? Daily D extension. This 206 level is a weekly and monthly D extension. Okay. So we'll see what happens. So if we break and close above this level, right, we could continue higher. if we get to this daily D extension and then close back below, right? Should be more like a double top scenario here. So watching this closely to see how we close the day today and into tomorrow. All right. So we'll remove that out so we can see that clearly there. Down on the 4, right? We know we got that 50% retracement and we're pressing long. All right. So this is the extension at 202,876. Obviously, if we get there, we're likely to get to that monthly and weekly D extension as well at 206. All right. So these levels are key for me in how price moves. So we shall see, right? You see, we're getting that nice push above now. We'll continue to monitor and see how things move throughout the day. Down on the 1, see, we took out that previous A boundary there as we're breaking through those levels, and we're headed north, right? 1 hour D extension there at 200,840, which would be hit here in a minute. All right. So that's where we are. All the M's pushing north, and we'll see if there's anything that can turn them around outside of the Bank of Japan saying we're doing this. Questions on the pound yen or any of the yens? We covered that NZD yen yesterday.
Nope.
No. All right.
No.
Benny, you got any other pairs that you got your eyes on just to see how they respond to the data today and tomorrow?
Not really, just really keeping an eye on those dollar pairs. Of course, watching again because we've got data coming, right? So
Yep.
those are the two main currencies that I'm watching right now to see what the reaction is going to be from investors as the data rolls out today.
Cool deal. Appreciate you, bro. Team,
Yep.
do you guys have anything that you have your eyes on that you want me to take a peek at?
NVIDIA.
NVIDIA. All right,
So,
let's do it. They got some interesting stuff happening.
yeah.
Let's come back here. See, I haven't looked at this chart in quite some time. Let's see what we got. Let's clean this off. All right. Don't know what that is. Am I in the wrong chart?
Sorry to interrupt with you, Ryan, but
Yes, sir.
the only way the graph or NVO or any stock looks like that is if it's had a stock split.
They did have one the other day.
And they had a
That's
split
what's
the other
happened.
day.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Appreciate that heads up there. All right, so let's see
No
something.
problem.
Now we'll do this by hand. Let's do it like this. Let's just zoom in here. Well, technically that support got broken with that push down, so that actually wouldn't be valid. Resistance there. Let's see. Support here. All right, so there's our most recent support.
Yeah.
And then we got resistance there. I'm curious on, don't even know if I'll be able to catch anything, but let's see. I want to get a long-term fib on this just to see how things
Going. Yeah.
let's see how things are moving there. Right, so all those are taken out. All right. So it's not a larger fib on this one. So we're just sitting tight on that from a daily perspective, right? From a daily perspective. Let's go down to the 4. Oh, that's wild. That's wild, but I what was that? Tyrone? Um talk to us about the stock split and what that looks like. If you could, and how that impacts the stocks. Because in my opinion, at 108, I'd be looking to buy this. If you're able to.
So they went 10-1 on the stock split, which I believe it brought it down at like 120
Wow,
initially.
okay.
Yes,
Yep.
sorry guys, I was talking and my mic was muted. So I remember quite a while back that Tesla and Apple had a stock split, and basically what that means is that on the top of my head, when a company does so well, they tend to get I can't think of it off the top of my head, but Apple, yeah. So Apple and Tesla were the top performing stocks a while ago. They had a stock split, and what I think that means is that the prices that it used to be, they're now cheaper again. But at this moment in time, from what I can remember, is that the volatility right now, with because there's going to be more investors. If you are to invest into Nvidia now, it will be very, very volatile because a lot of people are beginning to get in again. So I hope I'm not really clear on it, but that's the best I can remember from the stock split from Tesla and Apple.
Okay. Appreciate that. Appreciate that.
I put the article in the community.
Thank you, Joy. Benny, what were you saying? So split was 10-1.
Yeah, it was a 10-1 stock split, so introducing more shares into the market, right? So more players can get involved because that stock price was so high, right? So still holding the same value, but is now at a 10-1 split.
Well, those current stockholders, right?
Correct.
So for everyone.
Yeah. So if you want to get involved, right? As an investor now, you want to buy, Nvidia, right? You see where you can get it at 120, but overall for your current investors that's invested in it, right, you get the same value, right? But it does create, right, some volatility in the beginning. So just waiting for things to settle down.
Sure.
Settle down now that the stock split has happened. So, yep.
Sure. All right.
So it'll get moving again in either direction. It'll get trending, based on what the stock split price is now. So you kind of just wait, be patient, and it'll start to make its move again, and start to develop the pattern. So
Got it. All right. Appreciate the education on the splits. So that's what you got, Mr. Cena. All right. Wait for it to settle in. Sitting at 120 right now. Right. And then we'll see if we start to get some trending action in one direction or the other, not just up, but could potentially go down. But I don't see it going too far down. So that's NVIDIA. And not a ton to mark up because you got this gap here that took out all your support levels. So we don't even have a fib to run either until we start to get some trending action in one direction or the other. All right. So that's NVIDIA. Any other pairs to take a look at? No? Oil? All right, we'll take a look at oil, and then I have a request that I will ask after that. All right, so oil pushing to the upside. Here we are on the daily. Let's take that out. Boom. Previously, we broke below this daily level, right? The question was, will this level hold? And we continue to the D extension, or do we continue long? And you see we're continuing to the upside here, right? It's on a daily time frame. So we come back to the 4. Fresh AB boundary, right? Previous 80-20 didn't play out. Push down to the D extension, and then we got an immediate reversal, right? So the next level of resistance is here at $80. Okay, $80. We're running long. See, we broke the cloud here on the 4. We're bullish ahead, right? So to the upside, and we'll see what happens at $80 and see if we get a pullback. And maybe we get some head and shoulders action.
I was just looking to see that.
Yeah, that's what I
Right.
wanted to confirm.
Yep. So if we get here and we stall, or even if we break that level, right? We break the level and give us a crown. If we stall at this level and get the pullback, right? That'll give us a head and shoulders. I would like this action because my previous, I entered this on this 80-20 and got stopped out. So I'd love to see this low price to get long because I'm still bullish on oil overall. So, right, if we get to that level, take out that A boundary, that'll give us a new fib running to the upside. Well, that's a D extension there as well on the sub fib. So some confluence there at that A boundary, right? So at least pushing to $80. And then we'll see what happens at $80, right? Get a fresh AB boundary and a pullback. And then what happens, right? On the sub fib, we got an 80-20 setting up here. So do we pull back before getting there? We'll see what's happening on the 1 hour. But at the end of the day, right, still potential for this head and shoulders pattern on the larger scale to the upside, or a crown pattern if we break and pull back, right? So that's on the 4. Down to the 1. There you go, right? So let's see. So what will be beautiful. What would really be nice is if we get a pullback now, right, to give us this low price. Joy is killing the game, man. Joy got 2 entries, 73.67 and 75.97. I love it. Really what I'd like to see is a pullback now, right? You see where we are on that fib there, 618 level. I'd like to see a pullback now to retest this daily level, right? To give us a low price between this AB boundary and then a push to the D extension. So therefore we have this larger AB boundary that we can then measure when we get this next pullback. And this is me saying what I'd like to see, right? Obviously the market doesn't do what I want it to do, but I'd love to see a retracement here and then an opportunity to get back long and then a pullback to stay within this AB boundary here. Like that to then give us this opportunity for an entry again to the upside if that head and shoulders pattern is to play out. So that's what I like to see selfishly, but that's where we are, right? We're headed north. We've broken the cloud, right? You see the beautiful cloud break here on the 1, retest the cloud, and then continue moving along. Okay. And that's that AB boundary that we saw on the 4. Man, I missed this 80-20 here. Boom, to the upside. Right. So head along, we'll see what happens at the 8 boundary. We get a pullback here, that could be an entry opportunity. Play that sub fib. And then once we get to the high price, we'll look for another low price to get longer again. That makes sense. I know it was a bunch of back and forth there.
No, it makes sense. And I've been paying attention to on the price incline or how many times the TK crossing happened. Because if you look on the second one, it crossed over again.
Right here.
Yeah. So I'm waiting. I was waiting for price to come back, just like how I did before when it broke from the TK crossing. It pulled back towards the TK crossing.
Okay. Okay. I see you. I see you. All right. Beautiful. Joy's gonna have all the details in her journal. Break down oil at the end of the year for us and tell us what to look for, when to look for it, and how to look for it. I love it.
Oh, that's a lot of pressure.
Ah. All right, cool deal. You got it, Joy. You got it. End of the year analysis. That's what we're gonna write down. Joy's oil end of the year analysis. All right. JC, question for you. Are you at your computer?
Hey, yeah, I am.
Would you be open to going over your spreadsheet?
I can try. Sometimes this laptop
share
doesn't
screen.
let me, share and work right, but I can definitely try.
Okay. Yeah, if you're open to it, we love for you to walk us through the your spreadsheet and break it down for us. You did a phenomenal job. Phenomenal job on it. It's beautiful.
Thanks.
Let me.
I'm pulling it up now.
All right. Let me get you privileges to share. Boom.
It says host disabled.
Yep. So you should have access now.
Okay.
Stop my share.
Okay. Okay. All right, perfect. All right. It says I'm sharing. Can y'all see?
Yep, we got you.
Good.
Perfect. Okay. My screen is still loading. Can y'all see anything?
Okay. We see your spreadsheet. It just hasn't popped in yet. Hasn't populated yet.
Okay.
And if it doesn't load, what I can do is I can share and you can kind of talk us through it.
I was literally just thinking about that. Can we go ahead and do that? Because we did
Okay.
that with Donnell,
Yeah, no problem.
accountability group, and that helped out a lot.
Okay.
So let's
Yep,
do
I
that.
got you. Got you.
Okay.
Gotta open there.
All right.
And,
Is there anything I need to do on my end to stop sharing or stop?
nope. I
Okay,
should be
perfect.
good.
Thanks.
Should be good. You should be able to see mine now.
All right, perfect. So the top, the very top start date, you input your own date whenever you want to start, and then the end date will populate the 100 days for you. That does include weekends too. Excuse me. Ooh, excuse me, y'all. And then, yep. Did it populate?
Well, I'm sorry. I don't know if I did that right, but I'm editing. I think I'm in
Okay.
K's tracker, and I don't want to do that. Oh, there's the calendar there. Okay. Okay, I'm editing yours. I'll take it back to the regular. Boom. There we go.
And
End
then the
date
couple was
4/19.
over. Did it populate? I don't see it on my screen. Sorry.
No, it didn't populate the end date yet.
Okay, I'll fix that. Well, that's what that's supposed to do up there. And then you have the 100 days. Once you get to a certain population, the stage of the seeds will change. Yep. So if you want to do that, you can also drag that little blue bubble across and make it a little easier. Yep. Or yeah, you may have to go back and do just row by row so you
Start
don't
again.
yeah, just
Gotcha.
undo
Okay.
it. Yeah. Yep, that's cool. Yep. Yeah, do row by row. And then you'll see the three C's at the bottom will start to change. And then there's also a quote that I put at the side. And we still waiting to fill that in. But at the top, you got the input your 100-day keystone habit. You'll put the actual habit there, and then beside that, it's just extra space for you to be more specific to spell out and define your habit. And then you have your why up under that. And then below that, you got the benefits of completion. So just more information, just kind of help you stay encouraged, motivated, and have some stuff to look forward to. Kind of like playing into the visualization aspect too that we talk about a lot.
Yeah.
And then beside that, you got your progress tracker with the percentage. And then right below that are two YouTube resources from I don't know if I got it from the Daily Dose of Growth or the Forex Trade Room YouTube, but it's some of our videos there for just extra encouragement, motivation, and kind of the starting point of where the spreadsheet kind of birthed from. So that the key to consistency, that's that video as well. And then beside that, you got the game plan. I tried to give us enough space to kind of spell out a detailed game plan. There's some information there, kind of notes from that Mindset Monday and some of those videos, a couple of those videos as well there. And then at the bottom, I wanted to have a space for us to be intentional about what the reward would be as well. And then the top right is just a formulation for that progress piece. So what you have completed and then what you got to go. That's pretty much it.
Man, this is phenomenal, JC.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
This is awesome. This is absolutely awesome. Definitely drop
What you
some
don't
settings in the
see,
chat.
what you don't see is when you go through all the boxes, the C to the thing
Yeah, it's
changes.
fun.
Sorry, ladies, I couldn't hear that.
Great work.
She was saying what happens as you continue to make this progress is that seed that you planted
Okay.
turns into a tree, turns into an apple tree. And the further you go, you start to produce fruit. I love it.
I think
I
that's
love it.
brilliant.
This is awesome, JC. Great
Thanks.
work. Appreciate you doing it.
Yep, and of course you can duplicate it and do as many habits as you want to. So it's a document that you can keep being used.
Continue to evolve.
Yep.
Beautiful. I love it. I love it. We greatly appreciate you for doing this. Good people. This is in the community, right? This habit tracker is in the community for you guys to take advantage of. The accountability group meets Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. They go through habits, they talk about trials, challenges you might be facing, give you insight, encouragement on overcoming those. And they also talk about their journey and how they've overcome things that they have as they move through. They're reading Zurich Axiom as the book of the month, talking about lessons and learnings from those and how to implement those learnings into their daily life and daily routine. It's a beautiful space. Great conversation with great people to add to your learning journey, right? So if you haven't tapped into the accountability group, I strongly encourage you to do so. Tons of opportunity to learn, tons of opportunity to get support, and get additional questions answered from a different perspective, right? Me and Benny are always here, but to hear it from other team members that have been with us, some for 3 years, and some, Kay is our youngest. Well, no, she's not our youngest, but the youngest on the call today. Since like October, November, right? So it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Definitely take advantage of what's happening in the community, and the accountability group. Kudos to you all for doing that. Kudos to Donette for putting it together and spearheading that that addition to the community. We appreciate you. Any questions for JC regarding the spreadsheet?
JC, I think she had said we have the companion to it too. But I wanted to say thank you, JC, and to the group that you'd never know where, like, what you can do. So she just started with just giving us check boxes for, our accountability. And then it morphed into this. So, and she's learning as she's doing this. It's not something that she already knows. So she's YouTubing, watching videos, and just coming up with it. So I think it's really a great thing to really discover like what you have inside of you. So that was kind of really nice to see that.
Hold on, wait. You said that she's going through a process, step by step, learning as she goes, overcoming challenges, overcoming trials, and continuing to grow and develop and evolve and create amazing things that she desires to create. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Right? You perfection doesn't exist, good people. Perfection doesn't exist. Right? Kudos to the team for literally in real time implementing the things that we talk about. And you're able to see the growth and you're able to see the development, man. Kudos to you guys, dude. Kudos. I love it. I love it. Tracy, we have had some updates to the community. We have had some updates to the packages for new members, right? The community is a standalone subscription. The course is a standalone purchase, right? So if you want to purchase the new course that we launched, that is a standalone purchase. You had the opportunity to purchase it when you got the community. You can go back in and make that purchase today if you would like to. But it is a standalone purchase for the course. All right, I will. What I'll do is I'll tag you in a link in the community so that you can take a look at that. All right.
Sorry, Ben,
Anybody else?
can I just ask, is the new course, the new course, is it appropriate for members who have been part of the group for a long time to do it? Is it going to be in different kind of learning or just advanced learning? What is it going to give to us, or is it something that I can get new people to start on who are starting from the beginning?
So I'll answer and then I'll give members that have gone through the new course an opportunity to answer that question as well. It's definitely worth you going through it. There's new information there, but we also, just like we did in the previous course, we start from the beginning, right? So we're not skipping any steps. So if you got a newbie trader that's looking to come in and learn this skill,
Yeah,
they can go through the course.
okay.
Right? We our mission is to help people become consistently profitable, no matter the stage in your journey.
Okay.
Right. So you can absolutely. So team members, anybody that's been through the course, if you guys want to chime in and talk to Yassine about her question, you guys can chime in on that as well.
I can say for the new course, it has helped me understand the fundamentals. It helped me tie in the fundamentals and the technical side, because the first course gave us like the logistics, the technicals, and with the Fibonacci's and the trend line breaks. And what the new course does is go in more depth of how to utilize the basics that we previously learned and move forward with the fundamentals. That's why I could say it did for me.
Yeah, from me too. What I'll do is the old one has been fantastic. So every 3 months, I'll go back to it and relearn and learn something new from it. So if someone is starting, it's better the person go on to the old course and learn the basics and then jump onto the newer version.
So I need to understand, is the new course on different days?
No.
All right. The new course is already recorded. It's already in your back office. You're saying you have access to that.
Okay.
So
basically, if I was to refer my brothers and nephews to the new course, so they will have the opportunity to trade with us as we do every day, and plus tap into this course.
Correct. None of our live sessions change. We haven't changed any live sessions.
So they're on the live sessions, but they've got an extra course in the training.
They have access to the new course.
And for me, it will just be if I was to tap into the new course. So the added benefits is we're going through the training as we do every day, and it just gives me extra things on this course that I can go into. I just want
it's pre-recorded. It's pre-recorded just like the previous one was, so you can watch those videos at any time.
All right, because I just follow through on the live courses, so it was just the other courses would be there for me to tap into if I have the time. Okay, yeah. I just want to know, because obviously my brother's very anxious and my nephews are very anxious and coming on, and they just want to know whether they're going to be on this trading with us in the daytime and have extra training to go through, or how it works. But that's fine. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Definitely send them over.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Any other questions? You're welcome. Any other questions about anything that we covered this morning?
No.
All right. Good people. Find your 1% today, right?
Thank you.
JC showed us, right? A real life example of implementing what we talk about every day in your everyday life, right? We all have the power to create the life that we desire to live, but it's up to us to take action every day, one step at a time. And if you're willing to take one step at a time to find the next answer, to find the next solution, one step at a time, you can change the world. So we'll be back at it tomorrow morning, 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the pre-New York session with my awesome partner, Mr. Benny Allen. Until then, we will see you in the community. See you 6 p.m. for the accountability group. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.